Hello from Kampala in Uganda. My name is Becky, and it's my absolute pleasure to share a few more thoughts from the Bible with you this week. I've been delving into the life of a character in the Bible called David in my annual reading plan for this year. This young man had risen quickly through the ranks in King Saul's army after his initial dramatic defeat of the giant Goliath. He had led the nation to victory after victory, causing significant jealousy from Saul, who decided to remove this threat from within by killing David. To save his own skin, David fled the country. He ran away and found himself in Gath, one of the 5 main Philistine cities. The Philistines were the enemies of the Israelites, however, and it seems like some people must have recognized him and pointed it out to their ruler. Hey, this is David. He's the one that they sing about, the one who has slain tens of thousands. Maybe you should do something about this. It looks likely from the opening of Psalm chapter 56 that David was actually taken prisoner at this time by the Philistines. And this is David's response to what he was hearing, to those words that people were speaking about him. It's found in 1 Samuel chapter 21 and verse 12. David took these words to heart and was very much afraid of Achish, king of Gath. David ends up pretending to be a madman, and that allows him to escape from the clutches of Achish. But the thing that really grabbed my attention was that David was very much afraid. He was scared. He was filled with that horrible, crippling sense of fear. And he had, pretty good reason to be, actually. He found himself in an enemy city. His life was in danger. He didn't have his own army to fight his way out, just a handful of men who were loyal to him. Sounds like a pretty good reason to be scared to me. But the first thing I thought was that it is an absolutely natural human response for us to feel fear. It's easy to look at some of David's stories, his great accomplishments, his many victories, and to think that he must have been beyond feeling something like fear. But that is simply not true. I love that the Bible is so good at showing us the humanity of its heroes. David was genuinely terrified at this point in his life, and I expect probably in some other situations as well. There are 2 Psalms that David wrote either at this particular time in his life or when he was looking back at it. Psalm 34 and Psalm 56, and they both contain a similar sentiment. See, Psalm chapter 34 verse 4 says, "I prayed to the Lord and he answered me. He freed me from all my fears." And in Psalm chapter 56 verses 3 to 4 we read, "When I am afraid, I will put my trust in you. I praise God for what he has promised. I trust in God, so why should I be afraid? What can mere mortals do to me?" It's really beautiful, actually, to read these Psalms alongside the account describing what happened to inspire them. David was terrified. We know that from the story in 1 Samuel. But he had the formula for fear, which we hear about in the Psalms. And that formula was coming back to God. It was praying to the Lord who answered him and freed him from the fear that threatened to overwhelm him. It was putting his trust in God, praising him for the promises found in his word, and recognizing that there is nothing and there is no one on earth who is able to stand against God and the things that he has promised. What a beautiful model that is for us. We will feel fear at times in this world. There are many things to fear. You might be battling with worry right now, maybe over the coronavirus or the lockdown restrictions or what the future's going to look like in this crazy time in our world. That's okay. Don't try and shove that fear deep down inside you and pretend it's not there. Recognize it and bring it to God. Come to him in prayer. He will answer. Put your trust in him and in the promises that he has spoken to you. The promises in this wonderful book. Recognize his greatness again. See, fear of the Lord drives out fear of the world. When we realize God's awesomeness in you, when we reflect on his incredible power, when we meditate on his overwhelming goodness, when we come with reverence and awe before the throne of God, then we will have a moment like David. What can mere mortals do to me when I am under the protection of God? What can anything I face in this world really do to me when my eternity is assured because I know that it was won for me at the cross? Following David's formula is an amazing thing to do if you're struggling with fear right now. Denial won't fix it. Positive thinking won't fix it. But coming back to God can. I encourage you today, spend some time in prayer, spend some time in the Word, and recognize that God's power is over and above anything that you might fear today. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.